Hello, hello, hello. All right. This is my 1212 portal. I am opening for myself. Study thyself to show thyself approved. A card on the floor. A knight of swords. Okay, so welcome. My name is Marcia. This is my channel, and I will be sharing my story as a spiritualpreneur, and we are going from wishing to knowing. We are the new prophets. Some people call them magicians. We have books and cards that we'll be going over today. So if you catch this on the replay, just know that you are welcome into my space. I am sharing myself. I am sharing my thoughts. This is my journal. This is my personality, my traits, my characteristics that I am seeking guidance with. So, for any women that come in, welcome, thank you, and we're going to go over why I feel it's time for us to speak up. Why I feel the time is now on this new earth. So if you've been here before, you will know that I do not keep the camera facing me. So I appreciate whomever comes in the room, but I don't want to get caught up in the mindset of watching the numbers, right? I'm not trying to watch the numbers. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to start, right? Thank you guys. I hope you enjoy. Hi, sweetie. So, for those that's just coming in, we have taken a turn in this page, on this page, on this channel, right? So, I'm going to turn the camera around and I think I'm going to turn the camera around. Okay, so here we go. So, my introduction to why I'm becoming a viral homeschooler, an influencer, spirit, spiritual, spiritualpreneur, right? We are now going, we are going from wishing to knowing. We're going from the energy of wishing to knowing. We're going from the energy from believing to knowing. We are now the new prophets. We are now the new magicians, right? And how I'm going to channel this message is I'm going to use books and cards. So, I have a few books that I'm going to bring out. It's going to be Never Gotta, it's going to be the Message Bible, and it's going to be the Prince of Darkness. So, let's get it started. Okay, why you need to be reprogrammed and knowing that it's your turn. Take what resonates, leave the rest. This is my story and I'm sharing it, right? So, I have the Never Gotta collection in front of me. So, Never Gotta has been coming on my stream lately. All of his teachings have been coming to me consistently in the algorithm of my phone. So, I believe that we program the algorithm in our phones. And I believe that the algorithm and code words that I put in this video has brought you to this awakening. So, I am here for self, right? At your command. You are the command. You are the commander. So, as I channeled the messages in the beginning of Never Gotta, you have the time to realize coming in the room if this is for you or not for you. So, what does Never Gotta say? And I could go to the Bible first, but I want to do it just the way I channeled it this morning. It's rising. So, at your command, can man decree a thing and have it come to pass? Most definitely, he can. Man has always decreed that which has appeared. Let me get a bookmark. Bookmark. I need a bookmark. I'm gonna put my brother in the room today. Okay. Man has always decreed that which appeared in his world and is today decreeing that which is appearing in his world and shall continue to do so as long as man is conscious of being man. Not one thing has ever appeared in man's world but what man has decreed it should be. I'm going to read that again so we can program it in. Not one thing has ever appeared in man's world that he, man, did not decree. This you may deny, but try as you will, you cannot disprove it, for this decreeing is based upon a changeless principle. You do not command things to appear by words or loud affirmations, such as repetition is more than often that not confirmation of the opposite. Such vain repetition is more often than not confirmation of the opposite. Decreeing is ever done in consciousness. Decreeing is ever done in consciousness. That is, every man is conscious of being that which he has decreed himself to be. The dumb man, without using words, is conscious of being dumb. Therefore, he is decreeing to himself to be dumb. When the Bible is read, when the Bible is read in this light, you will find it to be the greatest scientific book ever written. Instead of looking upon the Bible as a historical record of an ancient civilization or a biography of the unusual life of Jesus, see it as a great psychological drama taking place in the conscience of a man. Conscious means awareness. So the man needs to be aware. Claim it as your own, and you will suddenly transform from the world of barren desert of Egypt to the paradise land of Canaan. Everyone will agree with the statement that all things were made by God, and without him there is nothing made that is made. But what man does not agree upon is the identity of God. All the churches and priesthood of the world disagree as to the identity and true nature of God. The Bible proves beyond the shadow of doubt that Moses and the prophets were in 100% accord as the identity of nature of God. And Jesus left and teaching and Jesus life and teachings and Jesus life and teachings are the agreement with the finding of the prophets of old. Moses discovered that man's awareness of being when he declared these little understood words. I am hath sent me upon you. I am has sent me unto you. David sang in Psalms, be still and know I am God. Isaiah, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God besides me. I greeted thee through the hast not known me. I form the light and create the darkness. I make peace and I create evil. Let me read that again. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, all these things. The awareness of being as God is stated hundreds of times in the New Testament. The, to name but a few, I am the shepherd, I am the door, I am the resurrection and the life, I am the way, I am the Alpha and Omega, I am the beginning and the end. And again, whom do you say that I am? This is not stated. I, Jesus, am the door. I, Jesus, am the way. Nor does it say, nor does, nor is it said, whom do you say I am Jesus? It clearly stated, I am the way. The awareness of being, the awareness of being is the door through which manifestation of life pass into the world of form. Consciousness, which is formless, is the resurrecting power, resurrecting that which man is conscious of being. Man is aware of being. Man is ever putting out, no, man is ever out picturing that which his consciousness of being. This is the truth that makes man free. For man is always self imprisoned or self freed. If you, the reader, will give up all of your former beliefs in a God apart from yourself and claim God as your awareness of being. Let's do that one again. If you, because I'm talking to myself, I'm just recording. So if I, the reader, will give up all the former beliefs in God apart from myself, right? And claim God as my awareness of being and Jesus as the prophet did. You would transform your world with the realization that I and my Father are one. So, if I, the reader, give up my former beliefs that I had learned and were programmed with other people's teachings, and claim God as my awareness of being, I can be like Jesus the prophet and transform my world into realization. I and the Father am one. This statement, I am, this statement, I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I, seems very confusing. But if interpreted in the light of what we have just said concerning the identity of God, you will find it very revealing. Consciousness, being God, is as Father. The thing that you are conscious of being is the Son, bearing witness of his Father. It is like the conceiver, right? It is like someone who thinks. Conceiver, the definition for conceiver is someone who thinks. It is like the conceiver and the conception. The conception is the action, the original. So if you think that you are walking in the action of the original, that's where you need to be. The conceiver is greater than his components. his conception. The conceiver is greater than his conception. Ever remains one with the conception. For instance, before you are conscious, before you are aware of being man, you are first conscious of being. Then you become conscious of being man, existence. Yet you remain as conceiver, greater than the conception, man. Jesus discovered this glorious truth and declared himself to be with God, not a God that man has fashioned, for he never recognized such a God. He said, if any man should ever come saying, look here, look there, believe them not, for the kingdom of God is within you. So, in my study, it says 365 days God is within you. So, if 300 and, no, it says 365 times. So that would reference to me 365 days. Heaven is within you. Heaven is within you, your higher frequency. Therefore, when it is recorded that he went unto his father, it's telling you that he rose in his consciousness. He rose in his awareness of the God within, to the point where he was just conscious of being, thus transcending the limitations of his present conception of himself, called Jesus. In the awareness of being, all things are possible. He said, you shall decree a thing, and it shall come to pass. In the awareness of being, all things are possible. He said, you shall decree a thing, and it shall come to pass. This is his decreeing. Rising in consciousness is the naturalist of being that thing desired. As he expressed it, and if I be lifted up, I shall draw all men unto me. And he expressed, I, if lifted up, I shall draw all men unto me. If I be lifted in my awareness of naturalness of the thing desired, I will draw manifestations of that desire unto me. For he states, no man comes to save the Father within me draws him. No man comes to me unless I draw them. And I and my Father are one. So, God is within. You draw the connection to tell people that God is within them. Your God is not my God, right? So, therefore, awareness is the Father that is drawing the manifestations of life unto you. You are at this very moment drawing into your world that which you are now aware of being. Now you can see what is meant by you must be born again. If you are dissatisfied with your present expressions in life, the only way to change it is to take your attention away from that which seems so real to you and rise in awareness to which you desire to be. You cannot serve two masters. Therefore, to take your attention from one state of awareness to the place it, wait a minute, you cannot serve two masters. Therefore, to take your attention from one state of consciousness and place it upon another is to die. So you got to die from your old self, your ego itself, to be one and live, right? Rebirth. So you have to die to the one, the old one, in this old world, in that old world, the past, and live in your rebirth that you have discovered today. The question, whom do you say that I am, is not addressed to a man called Peter, by one called Jesus. This is the eternal question addressed to oneself by one's true being. In other words, whom do you say that you are? For your conviction of yourself, your opinion of yourself, will determine your expression in life. He states, you believe in God, believe also in me. In other words, it is the me within you that is this God. Praying then, praying then, is seen to be recognizing yourself to be that which you now desire. Praying then is is seen to be recognizing to be that which you now desire, rather than its accepting from form of petitioning a God that does not exist for that which you desire now. So, can't you see why the millions of prayers are not being answered? Men pray to a God that does not exist. For instance, to be conscious of being poor, to be aware of being poor, and to pray to a God for riches is to be rewarded with that which you are conscious of being, which is poverty. Okay, let's do that again. So, for instance, to be aware of being poor and to pray to a God for riches is to be rewarded with that which you are conscious of being, which is poverty. Prayers to be successful must be claiming rather than begging. So, if you would pray for riches, turn from your picture of poverty by denying the very evidence of your senses and assume the nature of being wealthy. We are told, when you pray, go within secret and shut the door. And that which your Father sees in secret, with that will he reveal you openly. So, what you do in the dark in your prayer closet will come to light. We have identified the Father to be the awareness of being. We have also identified the door to be the awareness of being. So shutting the door is shutting out that which I am now aware of being and claiming myself to be that which I desire. The very moment my claim is established to the point of conviction, that moment I begin to draw upon unto myself, I always say upon, I begin to draw unto myself the evidence of my claim. Do not question the how of these things appearing, for no man knows that way. That is, no manifestation knows how the things desired will appear. Consciousness is the way or door through which things appear. So, like I said, awareness is the way or the door through which things appear. He said, I am the way. Not I, John Smith, am the way, but I am. The awareness of being is the way through which the things shall come. The signs always follow, they never precede. Things have no reality other than consciousness. So things have no reality other than awareness. Awareness that everything you ask for comes. So I'm going to stop right there on page 8. So then I went to my message Bible. I went to my message Bible and I pulled up the prophets. Hmm. So the introduction in the message Bible to the prophets. Listen closely, guys, because this is very, very important. So you will know why you are here manifesting the life of your dreams. Because I'm simply just nobody over here in my home office reading a book, right? Reading books and cards, right? So I pray the good prayer. So, prophets over a period over a period of several hundred years, the Hebrew people gave birth to an extraordinary number of prophets, men and women, distinguished by the power and skill with which they presented the reality of God. They delivered God's command and promises and living presence to communities and nations who had been living on God fantasies and God lies. Everyone more or less believes in God, but most of us do our best to keep God on the margins of our lives, or failing that fashion fashions God to a suit of our convenience. Prophets insist that God is the sovereign center, not off in the wings awaiting our beck and call, so not off in the skies. And prophets insist that we deal with God as God reveals himself or herself, right? Not as we imagine him or her to be. Because clearly it says men and women. But this is just part of how things were written that kind of throws you off of why I'm trying to tell the women they have to use their voice. Not that I'm taking from the men, but we're just coming out of Mother's Day. So I just want to make that clear. These men and women woke up to the sovereign presence of God in their lives. These men and women woke up to the sovereign presence of God in their lives. They yelled, they wept, they rebuked, they stood, they challenged, they comforted. They used words with power and imaginations, whether blunt or subtle. This is the thing. Pay attention. I don't know how many people we got in here. We only got one person in here. So thank you for the one person. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi. So 16 of these prophets wrote what they spoke. So that's the books of the prophets in the Bible. They wrote what they spoke, right? So we know that writing is a form of communication. We know that. There's a such thing as um, not writing manifestation, writing meditations. There's such thing as reading meditation. I'm doing a reading meditation, but I also put writing meditations with it, right? So, so when you hear people say journal, 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 so this is my reading, writing, and my technology of how you manifest the life of your dream. You put all the tools together. Okay, so 16 of these prophets wrote what they spoke. We call them the writing prophets. They comprise the section of Isaiah in the Bible. These 16 Hebrew prophets provide the help we so badly need if we are to stay alert. Alert, alert, alert. If you are to stay woke. So we got woke and we got alert, right? Awareness. If we are to stay alert and knowledgeable regarding the conditions in which we cultivate faithful and obedient lives before God. For the ways of the world, its assumption, right? The assumption is in within the mind. So if you read the book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, it will tell you how miracles in your life, right? How you get miracles in your life, but it tells you how your own mind works. So that's why I say you have to be having all the tools. You can't just have one tool. You got to make it all work together, right? So if you want the answers, here is my cheat code. This is a code. This is a decoding. This manifestation is decoding. To be aware of that, you are manifesting everything that you want. You are manifesting. You writing it down, you reading, you listening, you getting all the confirmation that you need, right? But in order for you to get confirmation, you have to do the affirmation. You have to know why you're doing this. You have to know why you're getting all these signs and symbols, and why you're connecting with people that you like. Who is this person and why are they in my brain, right? Why are they in my mind? So for the ways of the world, its assumptions, its values, its methods of going about its work are never on the side of God. Never. The prophets purge our imaginations of this world. Our prophets purge our imaginations of this world's assumptions of how life is lived and what counts in life. Over and over again, God, the Holy Spirit, right, uses the prophets. Spirit, frequency, spirit, energy, spirit, frequency, spirit, energy. The prophets, the, God is the Holy Spirit, uses the prophets to separate his people from the cultures in which they live, putting them back on the path of simple faith and obedience and worship of all the world admires and rewards, putting you back to yourself. Prophets train us in discerning the difference between the ways of the world and the ways of the gospel, right? Which is gospel is a ghost spell, keeping you present to the keeping us present to the presence of God within you. We don't read very many pages into the prophets before realizing that there was nothing easy going about them. The prophets have been down a very um, turbulence road. You have a story attached to you. You've been through a whole lot of things, and you like, why is this happening to me? I'm good as gold. Why is this happening to me? So in order to be qualified, you got to know I've been through so much. Why is this? Why? And from a very young age, they had it hard for a very long age. Probably, if you believe in reincarnation, you probably brought some of it from your past life, right? But now you get to break the generational curse. Because why? Several hundreds of years, the Hebrew people gave birth to an extraordinary number of prophets. So that's why now is your time. But what was it that made you unaware? That's a lot of things that people don't tap into? What made you unaware? So, I'm jumping around. I'm not reading the whole thing because that's not how I'm getting the message. So you see me, I stopped at that page and now I'm starting at this one. So now, next, after reading that, which I done came to that a whole lot of times, and I might just do a reading with that because I wanted you to know who you are, why you're here, who God is in your life, and why you were disconnected from your God. So, all right, so this is how you got disconnected. All right. So, how did you get disconnected in not knowing that you can manifest the life of your dream and feeling like you were stuck and stagnant in an energy? So, uh, let me make sure. Okay, so I just started reading this one back from the beginning so I could get, because it stuck out. And then we're going to get to the few cards that we have on the table. So let me see. This is the introduction to the Princes of Darkness. So this book was in scriptures, quotations, 1979, 1980, 1982. I see 1985. Prince of Darkness acknowledgement. Prince of Darkness is the result of 30 years of intense research of the Bible, study of the prophecies in the Bible and of the Bible over the last 200 years. Many scholars, many scholars. Just remember that, scholars. Okay, introduction. Somewhere in Europe, a brilliant man is working behind the scene to gain a position of absolute power over the emerging New World Order. Someday, this man will sell his soul to Satan to receive the kingdoms of this world. The kingdoms of this world. The ancient prophecies of the Bible called the coming world dictators the Antichrist. He is destined to lead the world during the terrible time of time the prophets call the Great Tribulations. So let me go back. He is destined to lead the world during the terrible period of time that the prophets call the Great Tribulations. The actions of this individual will profoundly alter the lives of every man and woman on each earth. Hold on. The action of this individual will profoundly alter the lives of every man and woman on the earth during the coming years, cultivating the battle of Armageddon. It is our destiny to live in the generations the ancient sages called the birth pangs of the Messiah. So this is in reference of why you need to know that the second coming of the Messiah is now. Who is the Antichrist? Will he appear in our lifetime? What is his origin? We get origin again, right? What is his conception? Right? What is his conception? This is what he thinks, right? Where does he receive his superpower? What is the purpose of the mysterious mark of the beast? These questions have aroused in interest of students. This is a homeschool. I'm a student, right? I'm a student. And I'm sharing my story with y'all. These questions have aroused in the interest of the students of the prophecy for thousands of years. So, right here it says that the prophets over several hundred years, you get new numbers of prophets, right? So, what is the purpose of the mysterious mark of the beast? These questions have aroused an interest of students of prophecy for thousands of years. In this book, we shall examine hundreds of the biblical prophecies that reveal the answers of these questions and many others. We will analyze the predictions of the Antichrist dramatic rise to become dictator of the New World Order during a future political crisis. We will explore the writings of the ancient Jewish and the Christian scholars to reveal the, the penetrating insights into the astonishing events leading to the rise and fall of the Antichrist. Pride, Prince of Darkness will identify the incredible Bible prophecies about this awesome personality who will rule the planet. We will focus and develop in the political, military, and intelligence field that will enable this man to establish his reign, right, of terror. Initially, the Antichrist will succeed in establishing a totalitarian one world government. However, his evil career will be shattered at the Battle of Armageddon. There will there he will meet the ultimate destruction when Jesus Christ awareness, consciousness, right? Because we know that's what it is. The 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 second coming of Jesus is Christ consciousness, awareness. So, the prophecies of the Bible enable us to understand the rapidly unfolding events in our generation. So, they indicate that we are entering the time the ancient sages called the footsteps of the Messiah. The incredible the incredible fulfillment of sponse than mere intellectual curiosity. This book will challenge you to consider the evidence that conceivers, that convinces many that we are living in our last days. Hold on. This book will challenge you to consider the evidence that convinces many that we are living in the last days, described by the prophets in the Bible. Okay, so this was wrote the first time in 1979, 1980, copyright 1992. Oh, it was copyright, so it was wrote before then. And this one right here was published in 1995. See how old it is? Okay, so back then they were saying we were living in our last days. Okay, so this book will challenge you to consider the evidence. Okay, so we read that. I challenge you to examine the Bible's prophecies referred to in the following pages. Compare them to compare them with recent history and the current unfolding events in our world. It is impossible that these historical events precisely have followed the prophecies of the Bible by chance alone. The odds against the prophecies being fulfilled by chance are simply astronomical. Let me see. Where's my book? Okay. This is an old book. Let's see. Examine the evidence and come to your own conclusion. If the Bible is wrong in its predictions, then it is simply the writing of men, and you can safely ignore it. However, if the Bible prophecies are truly being fulfilled, then it must be inspired. It must be the inspired word of God. These writings of impending catastrophic cannot be ignored. We need to consider the words of Jesus Christ. He who believes, he who believes, hold on. I forgot to read y'all one thing. Hold on. I forgot to read you this. Ah, yeah. I knew I was missing something. Let me back up for a second. Let me put a little mark right there because this is important. Acknowledgement. Prince of Darkness is the result of 30 years of intense research and Bible study on the prophecies of the Bible. Over the last 2,000 years, many scholars have written about the mysterious individual known as the Antichrist, and a number of writers that provided significant insights into the roles of Satan's Prince of Darkness, are listed in selected biography. Yeah, whatever. However, the inspired word of God has been my major source throughout the studies. My hope is that my research will help you understand the secret agenda of those, yeah, this is why I had to go back, of those who wish to replace our form of government with the one world order government that will set stage in the dictator of the coming new world order. The, the prophecies should awaken to us the profound choices facing every human in the final code of this century. I dedicate Prince of Darkness to my wife Kay and thank her for the inspiration and assistance in completing this book. Her commitment to Christ and demonstrated in every aspect of our publication, television program, and teaching ministry. I am grateful for the spiritual legacy of my parent, Lyle and Florence, that in, that included a tremendous love for the word of God, and I longing for the return of Jesus Christ, his consciousness, right? I trust Prince of Darkness will encourage you to study the prophecies of the second coming of Christ. That's what we studying, right? We studying the second coming of Christ. We studying the second coming of consciousness. We studying the second coming of awareness of self. For for yourself. I trust Prince of Darkness will encourage you to study the prophecies of the second coming of Christ for yourself. You will discover the promises of Christ, the promise of consciousness, triumph, victory over the forces of evil, the establishment, and the establishment of his righteous kingdom. Okay, so now I could go back because I skipped that part because I don't want nobody to get confused of what we're doing. We decoding why you are the prophet, why you are on your channel, why you are manifesting, right? Because that's what we're doing. We getting the codes to why now is the time for you to manifest the life of your dream because now you know that God is within you. Your awareness of God is within you. You are aware that it's your rebirth. It's time for you to start all over. It's time for you to start paying attention to the signs and the symbols. It's time for you to go back to your childlike state where you were talking to your invisible friends so that you can get the treasure pieces. You can get the yellow brick road to get to your manifestation from not what people think you should have, but what you think you should have. Not what people think you should say, but what you should say. It's your time. The time is now for you, right? That's why I'm on YouTube, in my house, in my office, decoding how I'm going to go from rags to riches, how I'm going to be a viral influencer, how I'm going to be homeschooling myself. This is for me. So when you go to your channel, you get to know you can be free to do whatever you want to, use whatever tools you want to be the Christ that's within you, the awareness of it. I am who I am. For you to be in awareness that you are who you are and you have a message and everything matters, right? Everything happens for a reason. I might have to go get the generator so I can plug this light back up because it's not all the way charged. Okay, where we at? We need to consider the words of Jesus Christ. He who believes in the Son has everlasting life. So Jesus told us we had everlasting life. Jesus told us that you were gonna come do this over and over and over again. Let me see what you say. Hi, hi, y'all. Let me. If you just coming in, I don't really pay attention to the phone, so I don't really read the message. But if you like what the content that I'm putting out, just go to my page and subscribe, and then leave a leave a comment under one of the things so I can know who you are. And thank you, thank you, thank you. If you do subscribe, I do have gifts that I'm giving out. I'm giving out $1,000 to the people that subscribe. I'm gonna do it for 30 days, and then I'm gonna burn and release so we can see our manifestations. These are my tools. This is my way of doing things. This is my way of having balance and giving and receiving. So hi, how you doing? Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful and thankful for you. And let's get ready. This is not about necessarily me going viral. This is saying that we get to go to school now as adults and learn the way we want to learn at our own pace and manifest the life of our dream. Now, if you already feel like you manifesting the life of your dream, that you already know that God is within you, then you can also still join. So I can invite you to come to my page and we can go live together and share things that manifesting tips or whatever tools you use to do. So, but if you want to if you want to donate to the channel, I have a cash out. I don't have it pending, but it's Dream and Truth 222. And I appreciate you. But I do still, without anybody giving anything, I appreciate your time. Gratitude is my altitude. As a matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and just in case somebody feels like they need to manifest um financial abundance, I'm gonna find my lighter. I'm gonna light a green candle for whoever. I'm bridging the gap for whoever else feels like they want to manifest the life of their dreams. Dreams to reality. Where is the lighter? Okay. So the the music playing in the background is a 777 hertz, a 888 hertz, and a 999 hertz. Open the gates of abundance and miracles in your life. That's the frequency that's playing in the back. For anybody that wants to know how they can use frequencies and numbers, because numbers matter, and clear their energy out, calm them. It's like a calm, a peace, right? Because even though you're breaking down barriers in your life, you still want some balance of peace, right? So we destructing on one end and we rebuilding on the other end all at once. So that's the intentions that I said. I'm heavy on intentions, guys. I'm so thankful that you are here. I'm thankful that you are in and out of the energy. And I'm going to go get the solar power generator so that I can get a brighter light on this rainy day. It's a rainy day. Okay. Thank you for light. Okay. So, we can we need to consider the words of Jesus Christ. He who believes in the Son has everlasting life, and he who does not believe in the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God abides on him. John 3:16. So, if I go to John 3:16 in my Message Bible, that's Old Testament 1659. Mark 5, John 1659. We need John 3. Oh, excuse me. I did this earlier. John 3, 16. John 3:36. I thought I read this earlier. I must have read it on Bible Gateway. Okay. So we're gonna start John 3:36 is under the bridegroom's friend. And we're gonna start with 34. The one that God sent speaks God's words. And don't think he rations out the spirit of in bits and pieces. The one that God sent speaks God's words, and don't think he rations out the spirit in bits and pieces. The Father loves the Son extravagantly. He turned everything over to him so he could give it away. A lavish distribution of gifts. This is why whoever accepts and trusts the Son gets in on everything. Life complete and forever, right? And that is also why the person who avoids and disturbs the Son in the doesn't doesn't see life. All he experiences of God is darkness, and an angry darkness at that. Okay, so Jesus asked his disciples a vital question. Who do you say that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, you are Christ, right? And we know Christ is consciousness, awareness, and the Son of the living God. Matthew 16:5 and 6. I should have wrote those verses down when I was reading earlier, but I didn't. So, hey, Matthew 15:05. Matthew 15:05. Right here. No. Philosophy, thinking, thoughts. Matthew 16. Oh, I was right. 15 and 16. All right. Matthew 16, 15 and 16. He pressed them, and how about you? What do you say I am? Simon Peter said, you are the Christ, the Messiah, the Son of the living God. The Son of the living God. It's telling you, the passage is telling you, because I might forget that. Not the God in the sky, unless you're vibrating on a higher frequency. Okay, so each of us must answer that question about Christ for ourselves. What does Christ mean to you? If the Bible is truly the Word of God, as a prophetic evidence proves, our answers to the questions will determine our eternal destiny. Our answers will determine our manifestations. We cannot evade it. After we examine the hundreds of fascinating prophecies about the Antichrist and the coming of Messiah throughout this book, we will return to this pivotal question about about our attitude about Christ, about our attitude about consciousness, about our attitude about awakening. The scriptures declare that the only hope for man lies in abandoning our sinful rebellion and returning to the loving relationship of God. So sin, right? So sin for me means to misfire. So that would read to me, the scripture declares that the only hope for man lies in abandoning our misfire rebellion, and returning to loving relationship with God. Those who believe the truth of the Bible are called to be witnesses of awareness messages to our world. Our road as a Christian, which I don't identify with anything, but this is a Christian book. Our road of a Christian witness demands an active, not passive involvement in the lives of our fellow men. It requires a willingness to pay the price of the personal commitment to our coming Messiah, right? Coming to be awakening to yourself so you can manifest the life of your dreams. Like I'm over here trying to manifest the life of my dreams, right? Our belief in the imminent second coming of Christ should motivate each of us to renew our love to re, to a renewed love of Christ and the willingness to witness to our brothers about his salvation, right? So our willingness, so the second coming of Christ, to me, this is what I got out of this. The second coming of Christ should motivate each of us to renew, to rebirth our awareness, to rebirth our consciousness, right? To rebirth our God that's inside of me. So this this hope will also purify our walk before the Lord. So the Lord for me means law. It's our law. It's the law, right? If you look up the definition for Lord, you're gonna get law, right? So this hope will also purify our walk before the laws. What's the laws? Like the laws of cause and effect, the law of frequency, the law of rhythm, the law of all things matter. And John said, and everyone who has this hope in him purifies himself, just as he is pure. Pure as in 1 John 3:1. John, born from above. 1 John 19:19, 3:1. Getting close to Revelations. First Peter, 1 John 3:3. Okay, master number 33. What John has said. Live deeply in Christ. Live deeply in awareness of Christ. So what did he say? He said, let's start at 2. He said, but friends, that's exactly who we are, children of God. And that's only the beginning. Who knows how we'll end up? What we know is that when consciousness is openly revealed, we'll see him. We'll see it because it's a masculine and feminine. The prophets are men and women, right? And seeing them become like him. Seeing them become like him. Seeing him become like him. Or her. All of us who look forward to his coming stay ready with the glistening purity of Jesus' life as a model for our own. With the glistening purified of Jesus' life as a model for our own. So you want to be the attribute of like Jesus as one. All right. Me and my Father are one. Okay. So, Sir Isaac Newton, one of the greatest scientists in history, was fascinated by prophecy. In his brilliant study, Observations of Daniel and the Revelations, he wrote about the fundamental importance of prophecy for Christians. So he wrote this for Christians, right? The giving ear to the prophets is a fundamental character of the true church. For God has so ordered the prophecies that in the latter days, come on girl, slow down. In the latter days, the wise may understand, but the wicked shall be wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. So If you don't understand that God is within you, you're going to be considered wicked. The authority of the prophecy is divine. So, divine. Let's read that again. The authority of the prophecy is divine. So, the definition for divine means of God, as God, and God or goddesses, right? That's the definition. Go to Google and pull it up. Divine and comprehend the sum of religion. Their writings contain the covenant between God and his people, with instructions for keeping the covenant in instances of God's judgment upon them that break it. The writings contain the covenant between God. Your writings, your writing meditation, your decoding, okay, with instructions for keeping the covenant, okay, God's judgment upon that break it, and the prediction of things to come. For a thousands of years, Roman Empire stood across the world as an iron colossus, crushing all oppositions beneath the iron leg. Its emperor, its emperor ruled their conjured land with absolute dictatorial power. The Bible foretold a miraculous revival of the Roman Empire in the last days that will be led by the final world dictator. The identity and character of this man was revealed through a series of prophets titles including the Prince, the Man of Sin, and the Son of Prediction. He will rule the earth during the final crisis just before the return of Jesus Christ. So we're still talking about the second coming of Jesus Christ, the second coming of you being aware of who you are, right? As the true Messiah. Hundreds of prophecies about the terrible personality are found throughout the Old and New Testaments, both Jewish and Christian literature, containing fascinating analysis and commentary about the satanically inspired leader. In addition, we will examine many secular prophecies from various cultures to predict the earth will undergo a terrible and persecution persecution under a satanic leader before the arrival of the Messiah. The man known as the Antichrist will dominate the political, military, and religious events of the last days. It is vital that we understand the Bible's revelation about the Antichrist. The people who live under his rule will face a terrible choice when he claims to be God on earth, right? The people who live under his rule, because it says that God is within you and there is no other God, that you connect with the God with within you. So if somebody else comes and say they are the Messiah, they are the God on earth, then you lost your power. And this is, let me see if I can find it right here. Let me see, I think. Let me get it right here. No, I might be coming up to it. Let me see. I think it's right here. Okay, so he will command that everyone worship him and receive the mark of the beast. The scriptures declare that anyone who receives His mark will be damned forever to hell. The martyrs who reject the Antichrist claims and worship Jesus Christ will receive the gift of eternal life in heaven. So if you don't receive the mark, if we are if we are to have a clear understanding of the amazing times we live in, we need to examine the prophecies about the revival of the Roman Empire and its coming dictator, the Antichrist. For thousands of years, Bible students contemplate the ancient prophecies about the Antichrist and the coming apocalypse. It was different to it was difficult to visualize how biblical prophecies such as attacks from the air, the poisoning of the third of the planet, and the deaths of billions could actually be fulfilled. Should the prophecies be interpreted literally as referring to actual future events? where where the prophecies only spiritual symbol where the prophecies only spiritual symbols of the ultimate war between good and evil. However, our generation has witnessed the horrible reality of the Holocaust. I got the Holocaust is over there. We can do that one another. Today is episode one. We just cracking the beginning. We just starting to put all this together. That's what this is. I'm in my class. I'm just sharing with y'all. I be trying to calm myself down because I be going fast. My mind be going fast, and I be trying to put the pieces of the puzzles together for me. But I'm thankful that um, anyone has come in and taken the time to take a few minutes and see what's going on in this room because we about to get to the magician, right? We get into the the mystic part of Jesus. Okay, so so for thousands of years, this is where we at. Where the prophecy's only spiritual symbol of the ultimate war begins, good and evil. However, our generation has witnessed the horrible reality of the Holocaust. Okay, um, weapons, biological warfare, and decades of totalitarian control over half of the human race. For the first time in history, we possess the technologies and weapons that can destroy life on this planet. This incredible inv- invocation has changed history forever. Some scientists fear that these doomsday technologies will put an end to the human history. Every lethal weapon system developed to date, no matter its honor, its horror, has been used in raw, right? The collapse of the Soviet Union has opened a Pandora's box of 45,000 weapons falling into the hands of unknown individuals and potentially irresponsible countries. The awful potential of chemical and um, biological weapons in the hands of people, unstable reigns, and such as Libya and Iraq has been nightmare scenarios from for the intelligent agents of the West. This situation must give any serious observer grave concern that we stand in danger of disasters and plagues for worse than more of the Black Plague of the 14th century. There is still no antidote for the plague and devastated Europe 600 years ago. So, the plague, anthrax, and many other deadly plagues are now in the weapons laboratories of over 40 countries in Syria, Iran, Iraq, and Libya. In addition to scriptural prophecies, many non biblical predictions appeared during the last few decades that point to the approaching crisis for the human race. A secular magazine, Omni, devoted its January 1992 issue to predictions about the year 2000. People are diverse as social scientists, military, um, physics, physics have begun to think about the unthinkable. The magazine reported Dr. Michael comments about the change in people's perceptions of possibility of Armageddon. As we approach as we approach that subjective date 2000, images stored in the collective unconsciousness begin to populate our dreams and our visions. We are rapidly approaching the greatest crisis in human history. So this book is history. This is past tense, right? This is past tense in this book. I'm just giving y'all the rundown. So we're gonna stop right there. So it says the apocalypse of thinking is in the air as we approach the subjective date going back to 2000. Images stored in the collective consciousness, in the collective awareness, begin to populate our dreams and our visions. Okay, so that's pretty much how we going to start out this class with saying now is the time that we realize who we are, and that we realize that we are now supposed to be manifesting the life of our dreams, opening up. So before I go to the cards, I'm going to also read you Genesis 12:13 before I go to the cards, so you'll know why you are manifesting the life of your dream now. So in Genesis 12, Abraham and Sarah, it says, God told Abraham, leave your country, leave your family and your father's home for a land that I will show you. Right? Why? I will make you a great nation and bless you. I will make you famous and you'll be a blessing. I'll bless those who bless you, and those who curse you, I'll curse. All the families of the earth will be blessed through you. So it's time for you to now be in your blessing. It's time for you to now manifest the life of your dreams. So how did I put the cards that I got out for me today, and I'm just sharing it with y'all as my confirmation that I'm on the right track, even though I have it in the Bible, right? I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you to manifest once you realize that God is within you, and no matter what anybody else say, I know what I have you doing on this planet, because some people seem not to know their purpose. So if you don't know your purpose, this is a good way to introduce yourself to um, different practices to open up your stuck and your stagnant. Right. So the first card I have is the Queen of Wands. After reading the books, after reading the passages and opening up everything, I went and got the cards and I asked for confirmation. So the Queen of Wands. What does the Queen of Wands have to do with The prophecies. What does the Queen of Wands have to do with the prophecies? I'm going to be here for a few minutes and I'm going to TikTok. But I wanted to come and do this here because this is where I started at, and I don't want to be um, putting my YouTube to the side while I'm doing TikTok. But this is how the portal's working up for me. Okay, so the Queen of Wands. What does the Queen of Wands have to do with the prophecy? That's the Queen of Pentacles. We're not looking for her. We're looking for the Queen of Wands. What does the Queen of Wands have to do with today's manifestation tips? Okay, so the Queen of Wands came in with the manifestation of the awareness of God within you. And she's saying today, Queen of Wands, light seer. This is a light seer deck. She's saying creativity, passion, determination, confidence, joy, bold expressions, helping others as you build your queendom power. Right? That's her light side. On her shadow side, the seer side, she's seeing jealousy, being afraid to take risks, not being totally honest with yourself, an optimal time to build your self-confidence and to let you go and to let go of what other people think, want, and passion, right? So the dark side is saying somebody's stuck in those energies. But her light side is saying it's time for you to create. It's time for you to heighten your creativity, to find passion, to find a new passion in the God within you, not the God that's within anybody else. So, what is her message? You are capable and fierce. It's time to root into your purpose and boldly step into your limelight of your life. Not my life, but your life. The Queen of Wands radiates creativity and passion wherever she goes, right? Everywhere. Like your God within you should be going with you everywhere. And if somebody's taking your God within you out of your concept and trying to inner energy vampire you into theirs, that's when you got to leave the world behind. Just walk away. Just say, hey, I'm gonna go get my blessings tenfold somewhere else, right? So when she enters a room, she she enters a room, her charisma and her confidence, right? Do not be afraid to be the center of attention. And for God is sake, the feminine energy, right? Stop acting small in order to make those around you more comfortable. Make sure fiery bursts of productivity and accompanied by laughter and gratitude. Gratitude should be your attitude. Connection, appreciation, and love. It's okay to hold shadow in all of this light. Don't push it down so deeply that you can't find it again. Accept the parts of you that you don't openly share. The past failures that held you back, they don't define you. So transmute that shadow, sit with it briefly, and then light it on fire because you don't need it anymore. The affirmation: I am my world. I fill my world with intense light. What the heck? I fill my world with intense light that connects and incites my passion. Okay, so congratulations to the new students and teachers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You got your Queen of Wand, you got your hand out, you got your wand out, you sitting with your black cat, you got your candles lit. We got our candles lit, which she has orange candles. But she's so happy that she found the light within her. She's so happy that she found the God within her. And that's real. That's real, real, real good. So I was so happy to see the Queen of Wands out today. It was very, very much giving me the red light to go ahead. So then I got the Ten of Wands, right? So the Twin of Wands, she got her buffalo, she got her 10 wands, but she's leaving them lit behind her. She's lighting them as she's going on her way, kind of like Dorothy. I like to refer to Dorothy and her yellow brick road, like she's paving her yellow brick road. She's not following. They just kind of taught you backwards. So you gotta leave your light, your lamps as you go. But as you can see, she has a suitcase that's full of wands because she only got three out. She got one in her hand and the rest are in her thing. So she's still holding on to a lot of baggage, right? But she is journeying on her way and just leaving her tracks, leaving her light, right? Would that light be for somebody else if she's going away? You can clearly tell she's all loaded up. It's kind of like the biblical story of Lot's wife, right? So they told Lot's wife not to look back because she would turn into a pillar of salt. So you can clearly see that you're going to the next level and you're not looking back, but you're just leaving the light. It's like you reaching well, she's coming down the mountain though. She's coming down the mountain. But she's leaving, so maybe she started up here and she's just leaving everybody behind, but she's leaving a trail behind. And she got a few more wands, right? So let's see what she say. Because that's what I seen. But I could, I'm over here homeschooling myself, learning, learn, earn while you learn type of thing. You get what I'm saying? Homeschool. Everybody need them a homeschool. You feel like you were taught backwards. You feel like you're not manifesting the life of your dreams. Baby, go back to school. Go in the kitchen and let it cook. Okay, so Ten of Wands. Light Seer says, taking on too much and heavy opportunity to free yourself from heavy burdens, obligations, finding yourself close to a successful outcome, the need to prioritize a message to keep going. So that's what she's doing. So I was kind of right, I was kind of right. Her Shadow Seer, divided attention, clinging to responsibilities, difficulty asking for help. I promise you that's me. The oppression of letting go of someone else, expectations of you, a need to stand for yourself. Like I said, I felt like she was going off on her own. She going on to the next level. So all those responsibilities. Do you really need to carry all those wands all by yourself, all at the same time? Couldn't you drop a few of them off by prioritizing? Or maybe, just maybe, things would go a whole lot faster if you enlisted some help. All you have to do is ask. Asking and is given, seeking you shall find, knock and the door shall be open to you. Drop the non-sensuals and the heaviness that is weighing you down because you are so close to yet so burdened. Think, think, because that's they had said that was the hardest thing for people to do. Think, right? Especially with what we just read in the Dark Knight of where is it? The Princes of Darkness. Like they were actually saying that there were things that happened, events that happened in the early 2000s that the events that happened in the early 2000s were making you not be able to think. So think, levitate at ease. Streamlining will expedite your goals and bring relief to any overwhelming, or molasses energy. I like that. Molasses energy that you are feeling. Sometimes this means letting go of a learned behavior or a limited belief, and sometimes it means deleting a task on your calendar. Whether your burdens are material, spiritual, or literal, or energetic, it's clear that you've got some extra baggage right now. Release the ish and enjoy your last steps to the finish line, right? So I release my burdens into the ethers, knowing that the universe will help tend to the essentials. Okay. So if you were here yesterday, we were doing the book The Magic of Manifestation. The Magic of Manifestation, right? The Magician, right? So I put those cards back yesterday. I shuffled them today as I went through my books and my channels and my different tools that I use, and the Magician came out again. So the Magician is here. She here, he here, they here. It is within you, and you activating your Magician, right? So, oh, excuse me. So the Magician came out again. So we still in the Magician energy. We pulling our rabbits out of the hat. The Magician has a pot. It's kind of like he on the ground with his pot outside. So we know there's some fire elements here. There's some air elements here because the pot is boiling. It's a spiral, right? It's not steel. So he's activating all the elements that he's working with. He's working with metal because it's in a pot, and we're gonna read that. The Magician. He was here yesterday. Okay, so the Magician, light seer, skill, natural talents, powers of manifestation, creativity, and resources. Right? So that's the energy of the Magician. So we working with our skills, our natural talents, right? We're working with the power of manifestation, creativity, creating the whole picture to make it make sense. Shadow seers, unused potentials, right? Latent talent, questionable intentions, manipulation, selfishness, unfocused, or block creative energy. So if you working with any of those, that's the dark side of the Magician, and the Magician wants to come to the light, just like the first line of the Bible. In the beginning, it was dark, and then there was light. So if you in your dark phase, it's time to come out. The time is now. Use all the tools: reading, writing. Find you some physical tools that you can get confirmation with. Ask your questions, affirmations, bring confirmations, and that's where your manifestation happens. The magical, the Magician brings forth a powerful message of creation and potential. You are magic. You are. I'm magic. My individual, myself, my within, and you magical with your magic and yourself. You have everything you need to succeed. Badass manifesting energy from the cosmos. So that's why this is his cosmos. This is his energy, right? His air energy, initiation of the air. All the skills you require, there are, they're at your fingertips. Beautiful creation, beautiful creator, go create. Activate the magic in your veins by focusing your energy, willpower, desire, and actions. When you consciously, when you are aware, step into your personal power when you are aware, because I'm aware. I got this card today, right? So this message is for me. I'm just sharing. When you are aware, step into your personal power and decide to shape the material world in this way. Either breathe in and every breath out in an opportunity to carve new meanings and new perspectives into reality. If you are unsure about your ability to create the life of your desire, trust in the latent potentials that reside within you. Feeling less than inspired at this time reminds you that it's time to find your muse. It's time to find your absorbed in thought. Find your spark, find your why, with everything you need sitting in front of you like a giant universe, like the metal pot that he's cooking up his energies in. And what and what can you do today that will bring it one step closer to you? I can manifest life. I can manifest the life I desire through energy and action. So I can manifest the life I desire through energy and action. Energy, the inner chi, inner me. So if I use my energy and I'm taking this action, I can manifest the life of my dreams. So I have the King of Cups, the King of Cups. While the King of Cups is here, is for the light seer, it's love, emotional intelligence, patience. Patience was here yesterday. Patience, 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 patience. Be patient with your manifestations. You're not going to go out there and plant something to eat or a physical flower and get the results overnight. Be patient with yourself. Be patient. Go out there and water it on the days you need to water it. Make sure it gets sunlight. Talk to it. Do all the things that you need for your flowers to grow or for your food to grow. So be patient with your manifestation. Experience stability and balance, creativity, diplomacy, support, someone supportive, being nurturing, and a wise leader. So that's what the King of Cups. So the shadow side of the King of Cups is a drama king. I'm glad it said king and not queen. A drama king, withdrawn, not in touch with emotions, being triggered, temperamental, an opportunity to work with the subconscious mind and dive into the self care. An opportunity to work with your subconscious mind, right? Okay, so he softens his gaze and reaches for his singing bowl. So he got his singing bowl, right? He is changing his frequency, right? He's working with the vibrations. When something unexpected comes into the King of Cups, awareness, something that may shake another person's composure and seeing them into the state of stress and anger, he regulates his emotions state. He regulates his emotional state with his mature practice meditative energy, finding a sweet spot between the empathic heart and the intelligent mind. So he found them balance, right? Where was that? Allow the emotional intelligence to, okay, allow your emotional intelligence to guide you as you seek to marry logic, kindness, and love. If you are in a situation that asks you to navigate energies, find your grounding serenity by calmly choosing care and diplomacy of force. I be butchering. Why do I be butchering? I swear I read all this before I came on live. I get on live and I be like, what? Slow it down. Be patient. I gotta talk to her. I gotta talk to the inner her because she be getting so excited. So I gotta come on down. Okay. So in shadow, the king can suggest that you may be feeling withdrawn, moody, or temperamental. or you may be losing touch with the which with how others are feeling at this time. Stay alert of clear stay clear of says stay alert. I be making my own words. I'm gonna make my own cards. I'm gonna make my own little things. I'm gonna go get some index cards and do it. Stay clear of situations that feel emotionally manipulative. Instead, seek to understand other thoughts, empathy, tolerance, and compassion, and emotional fulfillment will be yours. The King of Heart brings the energy of my heart holds deep wisdom and love, and I use it to connect and lead. Yeah, so that's what I had today for episode one. Episode one of we are now in the several hundred years for the new prophecies, the prophets to be transitioned. We are now in the full understanding that God is within. We're not praying to Sky Daddy, and everybody has their own individual picture of God. And then as we do good with our God, we get to connect with light wise people. We get to connect with other righteous people. You know, so it's okay if you were taught wrong. You don't live there anymore. This is your start all over. This is your out control and delete. This is your reset. Get your rest. Drink your water. Get your word. The word is God and God is the word, because you are speaking your truths. Nobody can take your truths away from you. And that's the thing. People got so used to, especially as young adults, we still had, and even me as a parent, I still was trying to tell my kids what I thought they should do, what looked right for me. But the whole time, that's pushing them further away. So if I could be more like my higher self, if I could be operating in my higher self, not worried about, who don't like what I say or what I wear, but just be my authentic self, then I'm always going to be right. And people want to see you being your authentic self. And if they don't want to see you being your authentic self and speaking your truth, when it's time for speakers to speak and teachers to teach, then they're not in the right energy field. You already passed them. And that's what they were trying to tell us when they were saying that you could be the student and the teacher all at once. Because the reason why you could be the student and the teacher all at once is because daily the information change. You can't go back to the past. Yes, you can read the stories of the past in your mind's eye. You can even see things of your past, but you don't live there anymore. So it's almost like you have to let go of fear, false evidence being real, so that you can journal and and connect with your higher self. You can see if you journal, you're gonna go back and say, I know I'm not in that space. I remember I was there, but you still can't even really connect with when you were there. You can have like little snippets of what was like when you before you found out who you are. And let's see what it say. Let's see. Y'all know I don't look at the camera, so let me see what this says. It says, so I have football in 20 minutes. Goodbye. I'm sorry, y'all. I was not even, we got a lot of comments. Thank you, guys. I see somebody message retract. Okay. Hi, hello. We got nobody cares. We have yo, nice chill. Yo, rice chill. Yeah, okay, sorry. Haha. What is she reading? Haha. Bibble. What is Bibble? Okay. Okay. Can I ask a question? Yeah. Why you joined this live? Because I'm a Muslim. This is Muslim. Are you older than 15? Question. No, I'm 8. And why the hell are you in here? Haha, I'm 8 too. So I have football in 20 minutes. Bye. Okay. All right. I guess y'all were having y'all own conversation, but that's okay. I hope you manifest the life of your dreams. Because guess what? What I'm not about to do in this season, and I advise anybody who, the lovers and the justice, lover and justice, balance. Yeah. I'm not even going to say what I want to say because y'all ain't in the live no more, but that's something that I have come to the conclusion of. It don't matter what anybody says, it's all engagement, right? Because I clearly don't know any of them people, and I'm not going to let them stop episode one through whatever, however high I want to go, because this is my house, this is my page, this is my channel, and if you tapped in my frequency, then you was over here for a reason. So that's why I don't look at the camera. That's the exact reason why I don't look at the camera, because I don't want the negativity. I set intentions to be as pure as I can, and I'm using my tools. I'm not bothering anybody. So if you come in and you don't like it, you get to stroll away. But what I do notice, and by me being on TikTok for a couple of weeks, I noticed that all engagement is good engagement. So I'm okay with that. Yep, because I'm the queen of sword. It's really, we standing on queendom business around here. We ain't got time for that. So let's see. We got two hierarchies out here. We have the justice, which is a number 11, new beginnings. I like synchronicity. Y'all know I like synchronicity. If you've been on this page, number 11 is out here. So yeah, I'm finding balance in my light self and my dark self. But let's see what it say. Justice 11 10. I love the Wheel of Fortune too. Justice. What does justice tell us about manifesting? What do you have to say about the subject of manifesting? So it's our natural law to manifest. It's balance. It's karma, good karma or bad karma, right? All karma is not bad. Truth, wisdom, legal matters, fairness, cause and effect. It's a law. Integrity, objectively, perspective, and accountability. So that justice is in your manifestation. So the dark side of justice with your manifestation is the shadow seer, consequences, retribution, karma. So because karma was in the light and the dark, that means you have good karma in your light, or if you feel like you in your dark energy, you have dark karma. Injustice, inequity, dishonesty, balance, and a need to take responsibility for past actions, past tense, right? So justice asks you to learn from your past experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Take it all and grow from it. This energy is not about perfection, but about fairness and honesty. It highlights clarity and motivation and intentions. And it asks you to be realistic about the cause and effect of your thoughts and actions. Seek balance. Seek to balance your growth with both positivity and shadow. Find balance in your light self and your dark self. in your current situation, be impartial as you reframe your reality and work to remove any negative emotional charge from your equation. If fear is causing you to act in a way that you aren't proud of, seek a variety of perspectives before judging another person's action to be good or bad. The only true path ahead of you is the only true path ahead of you is not one that is necessarily black or white, but it is always one of love. My good karma is delightfully loving, and it can be the most motivating of teachers. My good karma is delightfully loving, and it can be the most motivating of teachers. So I have a six, the lovers. On the light side of the lovers, lovers be giving me yin yang energy. But this one too is yang energy. It's balance. A, a choice, dualities, harmony, a love or romantic relationship, friendship, unity, choosing to allow yourself to fall in love, healthy boundaries, soulmates, the shadow side of the lovers, a break in communication, disharmony, the need to find self love, giving away power in a relationship, the loss of self, too many expectations of others, manipulation, and imbalanced partnerships, codependency. Magnetism is like magic, it's coming into your life. You are sitting on the cusp of the type of a profound connection that happens when two souls are intertwined and their entanglement forever marks their individual paths. Often this card signifies that an important choice needs to be made. Will you embrace the spiraling energy that unwinds between two people who are beginning to connect and choose to shift into this relationship or not? Falling deeply into trust will be necessary in order to create a long-lasting bond and growth around vulnerability, honesty, despair, and intimacy is being called into the light of is being called into the light to be healed. Oh, while partnerships are beautiful gifts on this path, you must ask you must also seek to give fully without weakening your resolve to remain whole. Remember that self-love is the key to balancing the duality of any relationship. My heart is open to meaningful relationships, and I expand into the union with love, trusting. All right, guys. So that's the first one. I'm gonna say thank you. Thank you for everybody that came in. And like I said, I don't. Oh, nice. Hi. I don't. I don't want to get too much into the comments, but if you joined the channel and you did comment, like I said earlier in the live, then I appreciate you. I will see your comments, and I am thankful. Justice came out again. Have a good one.